Welcome to This Week in Gallup. I'm Barbara Stanley. My guest is Mayor Louie Bonaguidi, and we're going to talk about all the good things that are happening in Gallup, New Mexico. Louie, I think that you and your staff, the city staff, have done a tremendous job through this coronavirus. And we're the only county that went from red to green. I mean, we just skipped yellow. How'd you do that?
Well, actually, it was a combination of people. I had Anthony Demuth with the county, and then we had Bill Lee with the chamber, and we made a number of calls to the governor's office, and then we end up with the Department of Health. I mean, asking them specifically, hey, how do we move? I mean, everybody else has moved. Why can't we? And
Right.
They went through details, and they kind of mentioned that, well, we need more tests. The tests are coming in. We're getting more positive than negatives. And then we realized that most of the testing was done with the detox centers in those areas. And okay, we're going to try and figure out how we could get ourselves out of that. So we set up the fire department to basically start taking tests. And then we challenged each other. We challenged the county employees. They challenged the city employees to see how many could get the most. And we got our tests in, and the test proved very vital. We showed that we had more negatives than we had positives. And that's why we skipped the yellow and went to the green. And the rest is actually vaccinations. The vaccinations are people are getting, in fact, we're leading the state in vaccinations. Of course, we had the IHS doing vaccinations. We had the RMCH doing vaccinations, and that basically got us up to where most vaccinations are in. So
well, I don't, as a citizen, I really had no clue about how the numbers were used and how you got from red to yellow to green and up. And I was really, really surprised when I talked to the fire department, and they told me, we have to have people tested all the time. And whether you have symptoms or you don't, it's better if you go and get tested. And, and I thought, why would we do that? And then you've just explained it. We need more negatives than we need to have positives.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
We've only been testing usually the people that look sick, that are sick. That's who I thought was supposed to be tested, Louie.
Well, that's the first thing they ask you when you go get tested is, well, what are your symptoms? Well, I don't have any symptoms. Well, then
Right.
we won't test. So, I mean, we basically encourage everybody to, find a symptom. I don't feel very good this morning, or I have a headache, or whatever. Just any kind of excuse to get tested.
Well, see, that did the tests come in just automatically from the federal government, or did you have to request X amount of tests?
The fire department, my understanding, they requested 1,000 tests, so that's what they got. And the testing that we're doing now are the rapid tests, not the 4-day tests.
All right. So those tests are still coming in free?
Yeah. Yes, they are free. There are a couple of places that would ask for cash or whatever, but or insurance, but we suggest calling the fire department. That seems to be our mode of getting it done. So
well, there's still I've just heard not real information, but just generally traveling. The airlines are asking for either your COVID vaccination card or a test. So there's still, COVID has not gone away completely. I mean, it's still here. And so I think we still have to be careful. One of the things that I worry about is we're now and really at turquoise, which is really good. I mean, That's the top of the line. Can we lose that designation, Louie? Can we go backwards?
Well, that remains to be seen. I don't know. I think we could go backwards, but I think it would be because either the hospitals would start getting filled up or starting to send people again to Albuquerque. Yesterday, we had our regular weekly COVID meeting, which is basically a meeting with the IHS, RMCH, the city, the county. And the discussion is that we're doing really well. I mean, we have not had any deaths. Our numbers are way down as far as the virus. Some of the doctors are concerned that there may be a bump coming up in the next few weeks with these new ones that are come out. And then our chief actually asked a question. He says, well, now that we people are being vaccinated, can they come back down with the virus? And the only thing they said was that there have been 2 people that have had the virus, that are not the virus, had the vaccination and then came up with the virus, but only 2 people. So it's not enough to say, well, I'll be a concern because you've got the vaccination, you can't get it. We don't know, so.
Well, that
all we
again,
can do is play by day.
When this all started, nobody had any real information, and we were just sort of the information we were getting, they were sort of making it up on the fly. Now I'm very pleased because at the federal level and now at our level, we can say we don't know the answer to that question. And so I think that's really, really important, Louie, that we've come that far that we are able to say we haven't got that information yet. So we have to be careful. From what little I've heard, some of the variants, like Moderna helps some and Pfizer helps some. So it's sounding more and more pleasant. The other thing that they've talked about a lot in the last month or so is how long the vaccine will last. And now they say the Pfizer vaccine is lasting a little longer than 6 months, but it might last longer than that. So I don't know what we're going to do then, or, if we're going to have a booster shot so we still have to wear masks. We still have to sort of be careful, don't we?
Yes, we do. In fact, it's been advised that you keep your card. In fact, you might take a picture with your phone and take a picture of it so that you do have it with you on a regular, because there may be another booster shot coming up. They don't know, as far as what we can see, they are 96 to 98% effective, but the length of time that they can last is still been undetermined, so.
Well, and see that, with like the flu shot, that is not, the flu shots are not 96% effective, which I don't think people realize. So, I think these vaccines are doing pretty good for what they, yeah. But Gallup, as I say, I think that the city of Gallup and McKinley County, all of you should be really applauded for finding out what we have to do to get out of the red mess. That was a terrible place to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, what one thing about
yes.
our community is our community has basically proven to the rest of the world that we take it serious. With President Nez putting on his curfew, and of course the Zuni tribe did a curfew that wasn't as publicized as the Navajo. But what it has done is it's caused people to realize the situation. And our community and the Navajo Nation basically have proven that we're taking it serious, and we're going to get through this thing. The rest of the state may have to follow us for that matter.
Well, that's it. And, the nation has had really good numbers coming out this last 2 weeks. So I think they're doing really well also. And that, there's no way that the Navajo people cannot come to Gallup to shop. It's just, we're closer. So that's the next thing that I wanted to talk about is how are we doing now being in Turquoise? How's the business? How are businesses doing?
The businesses I've talked to have done exceptionally well. I mean, we, this community or the Native American are very loyal to businesses. I can't help, I have to say that because my own business, with whatever we've put up with, we've not only put up with the virus, but we got but Cole Avenue tore up. But
Right.
they've been loyal. Customers have been coming in, and talking to other businesses downtown. They're having the same effect. I mean, business is good. Restaurants are doing well. Since we've gone into the green and the turquoise, I think I've done like 9 restaurants. I can't get enough of the restaurant part. But yeah, in some cases we're having to wait 30 minutes to get in or make reservations because, I mean, everybody, the stimulus money is out there, and I think that our customers are coming in.
The restaurants and some of the other places there's been a lot of loans that they could apply for through the grant process. How is that coming along? I mean, there are some grants that are like, we give you money and you don't pay it back. We give you money, it's a loan. How are our businesses doing with that? Are they working through that pretty well, or is somebody helping them?
Yes, actually, the city and the county both of it. I mean, we had 5 million. The city had 5 million, and the county had 13. And it was a grant process. We've used up it all. Both of us have used all the money that we've had. And the businesses the applications that I've seen and the businesses that got grants, I mean, it just amazes me that how well. And of course, we worked with the Chamber of Commerce, so it wasn't like you had to get on the computer and do it. I mean, there was people there to help you. If you went to the chamber, they would help you. If you come to the city would help you get onto it. So the businesses that I've seen are majority, I would say 99% of the small business that applied and have gotten funding.
Well, and some of the businesses that we've lost, I mean, Bell's is one of them that I think of, but we have to understand that a lot of the citizens, I don't think, realize Bell was in trouble way before coronavirus hit.
Exactly.
And so, I think that that was not a coronavirus problem. That wasn't a shutdown. It was like Bell's had money problems at the national level, didn't they?
Yes, they did. I mean, they were downsizing. They've been downsizing basically for the last 3 to 4 years.
So, and that again, I think we need to sort of get the information out there that some of these businesses were not closed by coronavirus. They were just closed for other reasons.
Yes, I agree with you. That's, I mean, it's unfortunate we did lose. We've lost a number of businesses. But like you say, I mean, a lot of it probably was. There was a few of them that basically started and the virus hit, and just basically cut them down to where they couldn't stay in business.
Well, and a lot of those businesses, Louie, were not firm enough. When you start a business, it's sort of like a plant. Until the roots grow a little bit and it gives you a little bit of stability, you're in pretty precarious situation when a new business. And I think it used to be that 60% of the new businesses failed within 3 years.
Exactly.
And not because of anything, but just because that's the way it is. And so I think we have to look at that too, to see where our business community is. One of the really, really big things that everybody worries about, and we're talking right now, they're talking about the Zozobra thing in Santa Fe. Are we going to have the ceremonial, the rodeos, the balloon rallies? Are those things going to come back?
Well, in fact, last night had a meeting with this. Well, let me start by starting at the basis. The tourism department got basically $18 million from the legislature. And in the $18 million, it is to promote every promotion in the state because they want to bring tourism back as fast as they can.
Right.
So anyway, the tourism department basically appointed a director for the ceremonial because it has to be viral this year. It would be impossible to bring in tribes from all over the country when we don't know if we're going to be allowed to. And of course, advertising throughout the world for the ceremonial is a major job too. You can put money into it to only find out that we can't have it. So
Right.
the state decided, let's do it viral. And the meeting we had last night, basically, there's an advisory board of people that have been successful in promotions, either like the Gathering of Nations or Santa Fe Indian Market. This advisory board will have ideas as to how to do it viral and promote throughout the world. And then there's a task force. So the task force is going to be the people here in Gallup that have had experience with the ceremonial, and each committee.
They know what they know all the components of the ceremonial.
Exactly. The committee chairs, the performance committee, rodeo committee. Anyway, that group will be meeting here shortly, and from there, I guess basically I don't know what the detail will be as to how they can do it viral, but it'll be interesting to see. The intent basically is try to advertise the ceremony as much as possible for next year. So.
Well, the other thing is that is a good indication that the ceremonial then will be alive for 2022. It will be
the 100th anniversary. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and if they drop it this year, Louie, I'd really be worried about 2022. But because you would have lost all that talent, you would have lost all the information about where to go with that in advertising, all of that. So virtual is better than no ceremonial. Exactly.
I mean, we have to do whatever we can. The history behind ceremonial, for 98 years, it never missed a ceremonial. Even during the Depression and the war and everything else, there was always a ceremonial. And so last year, being that we had to cancel for the first time in the history of ceremonial, it hurt. In fact, it hurt me because I had to be the one to inform them that there was not going to be a ceremonial this year. And so, yes, as being the past president of the ceremonial, I really love to see the big event next year. I want to see the 100th anniversary, and I'd love to see the ceremonial get back to what it was originally.
Well, and and one of the things that I thought it was probably good for us. A lot of local people had become very blasé and very like, well, the ceremonial doesn't amount to much. It's it's nothing, and then it was gone. And I loved the eyeballs and the raised eyebrows. We're ceremonial. We don't really like stuff till you take it away from us. You think?
Well, we don't like change. Let's put it that way. And ceremonial has become part of Gallup. I mean, in all our generations, the past 5 generations, it's become part of Gallup. So yeah, when all of a sudden it's not there, we miss it. And hopefully we can bring it back.
Well, and I think paying attention to the virtual, one of the things that might be really, really a good idea is from now on, we could just have both the live ceremonial and a virtual rendition of that, because I think there's going to be a whole lot of money involved in some of the promotions that people have through the virtual kind of thing. I think the Indian market, they've made a whole lot of money and they've gotten a whole lot of orders through the virtual. And so I think maybe that would be a really good combination for the 100th year.
I think so. I think that, the internet has basically made its place in the world especially with this virus. And I think it's the greatest form of advertising that we can get out right now. I mean, for years, we tried every aspect of advertising, whether it was flyers in the motels, newspaper inserts, you can't do enough. And the thing about it, though, the ceremonial draws from all over the world. I mean, we got people from Germany, Japan, Italy, and so advertising has always been the biggest, most expensive issue with the ceremonial. And now I think with the internet and social media, I mean, it gets a great source of advertising that can be fairly cheap and can be done worldwide. So.
That, and as I say, I think that is probably going to be the future. So having all this outside help from Santa Fe, et cetera, we should be very thankful. And I'm hoping ceremonial will be the greatest. And so we can build on it for next year.
For sure.
Maybe the city can save all of the advertising from this year, and then you can spend that extra money next year. What do you think?
Well, with the motels, that's been the biggest form of money coming in. Basically, has been lodgers tax, and of course, the motels have been one of the hardest hit in this past year. So we ain't got a whole lot of money that for next year.
For next year.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they'll all fill up.
Well, actually, I don't know if it's just me, but I've been passing, but the motels I pass the past week or so it's just El Rancho's got their parking lot is full. The motel in back of the El Rancho, their parking lot is full. So to me, it's encouraging. I think people are actually out traveling. Well, we've put up with a year of this virus, and everybody's getting antsy, would like to get out and do something, and I think they are doing something. They're out and traveling. So
well, and I think I-40 is a big draw this year because a lot of people don't want to go to airlines. They don't want to be in a little tube with people. So in their own car, they can drive right through Gallup.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
for the first time in a long time. Are the city finances in good shape? Are they is the state money coming in all right?
Our gross receipts tax was not as badly hit as we had anticipated. We had thought it was going to take like a 30% dip. Instead, it's more like a 12 to 15% dip. The only area that we really got hurt was our gas tax. The gas tax is way down. Of course, the federal government has a stimulus money that's going to be coming to the cities and the counties. They haven't worked out the details yet, so we don't know when that'll be coming in, but that'll help us. We're supposedly to get $5 million, and we'll probably put that into infrastructure. Our infrastructure is really hurt. Our water lines, our wastewater, everything is, sewer lines and stuff are in dire shape. But of course, $5 million is not a cure-all, So we'll put a portion of that. But other than that, I think we're in fairly good shape. Of course, we shut down the recreation department. That was a money saving for the city, but it was terrible for the community. But overall, I think we're in pretty good shape. Talking to Patty Holland, we're going to get through it. Of course, we also had a lot of help. We've done a lot of well, it depends on the governor. If she signs our bills or if she vetoes them, but we've had a lot of help with the legislature too. So
yeah, I wondered about that. And then there's the new bill that hasn't been signed yet, but the cannabis bill. If they open up that trade in 22. That should be the gross receipts taxes from that might possibly replace what we lost with the groceries. That might be a good revenue place, but that money all goes to the county, and then you have to work through that. So, but you have a really good relationship with the county now, so it should all work.
Well, yeah. We're going to have discussions with the county basically as to how we can work together. There are a number of issues, but I think with the present county commission and the present city council, I think I personally look at it on a positive note. I think that there's going to be a lot of things we can work together with.
Well, I think you already have, and that's a really great thing. And I've always thought, Louie, that our city and county have worked together much more than the average person knows. There's been some problems, but there's also been some really good things that have happened when the two groups work together. And I think there's been a lot more cooperation than there has animosity.
I agree. I was on city council in the late 80s and early 90s. And at some of those points, I mean, we had no relationship at all with the county. And so right now, I think, like I say, the makeup of both the city and the county offices, I mean, things should work out well.
Well, is there anything else that we should look for in the future that we need to get behind and push and try to help?
Well, the only thing I could think of, of course, with Cole Street Commons, the replacement of Cole Avenue, encourage people to come downtown. The businesses could use, they're doing whatever they can to stay open, and if you've got time, come downtown. Actually, I encourage everybody to just do business in Gallup. I mean, we have a great business sector. I'd like to see it larger. Selection in Gallup is probably the worst it's been probably in 30 years. I encourage people that are looking to get into business, come to Gallup. We have, when the middle of when we had the lockdown of the city way back in March of last year, one thing became evident that the first of the month, we have an average of 40 to 50,000 people that come into Gallup. And if I was looking to get into business, I would look at Gallup and say, that's a promotion that nobody else has in the state. Great business town. It has always been a great business town.
That, and I think probably we ought to look at using this particular internet form. I think we ought to use it a little bit more just to advertise, come to Gallup to open your business. I don't think we've done that yet, Louie. So it wouldn't be any club, organization, or event. It would just simply be to encourage business people to look at Gallup as a possible site for new manufacturing jobs, for any jobs that are out there.
In fact, last week we had a strategy meeting. The city council did, and what do we want to see in the next 5 years? In fact, 1 to 5 years. And that is one of the top priorities the city council has is to attract more retail stores. We need more retail stores. And so I'm looking forward to it. I think in 5 years from now, we should have probably 40, 50 new retail stores in Gallup.
If that's the goal, that's absolutely fantastic. That's wonderful, Louie. 40 or 50 new businesses will put us over the top. I hope we can do this again. It's always good to catch up with what the city's doing. And I think you and your staff, as I say, are doing a tremendous job. And working with the county is a really big plus. But I hope we can do this again, since we both figured out how to do it.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, I think the city's
at my kitchen table here,
Oh, that's a good thing. We're playing COVID. This is how we should act at the COVID. But I think we should all wear masks. We should all be careful out there. We should all go and get a vaccination if you haven't. And we'll get, as you say, we'll get through this. And if our goal is 40 or 50 new businesses in 5 years, that's a really, really good starting point to get through the COVID virus and move to greater things. So we thank you all very, very much, and we'll talk to you again.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah, well, we'll do it again, Louie.